The sun has got its hat on. Hip, 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 hooray! The sun has got its hat on, and it's coming out today. Ooh, yes, it's a lovely day. Welcome. It feels like summer has returned. I don't know what I have done to deserve such glorious weather, but yes, we are all together again on a very hot day. How hot is it? I will tell you a little bit later on. Here we are then. Yes, we are once again live from the birthplace of the English language. It is English Addict coming to you right now from, oh my goodness, England. That is where we are coming from today. Ooh, hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are you feeling happy? I want to see that smile on your face right now. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Yee. Good. So now we are all smiling and we are all together again. Yes, we have made it all the way to the middle of the week. It's very nice to see you here. Can I just say, I don't know what's happened. Maybe it's global warming. Maybe it's because Mr. Steve has closed all of the windows in the house. But it is so hot, especially in my studio. What you can't see at the moment underneath here, you can't see. There is an electric fan blowing cool air, not only across my legs, but also up my shorts. And can I just say, it is a very pleasant experience, to say the least. So that is another reason why I have a smile on my face. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Duncan. I talk about the English language. I love talking about English. You might even say that I am an English addict. It is a hot day here in England. I don't know why. Please don't ask me. But we have had a little heat wave over the past 3 days. And apparently today is the final day, because tomorrow it's going to become very cool, and by the weekend we are going to have some rain. So today I am making the most of the sunshine. You can see behind me, everything is glorious. It is so nice outside, and that is a live view looking out of the window right now. I was going to go outside, but I decided not to, for 2 reasons. First of all, it's very windy, and the other reason is some of the farmers have started spreading something called slurry. I don't know if you've heard of it, but slurry is something that the farmers will put on the ground before they plant their next crop. Let's just say slurry is quite stinky. It's a little bit smelly. So maybe that's the reason why Mr. Steve has closed all the windows in the house, because basically it is poop. It's true. The farmers save all of the poop, and then later in the year they will spread it on the land. So it is a kind of natural fertilizer. The only problem is when they are spreading it, it really does stink. So that's one of the reasons why I'm indoors as well. Not to mention the fact that it's very hot. I nearly swore then. It is so hot. It is about 29 degrees today. They think that it might be 30 by the end of today. So it is only 9 minutes past 2, so it might even get hotter. It might get hotter before the live stream finishes. Anyway, that's the introductions over with. I'm glad to see you here today. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, we have made it all the way to the middle of another week. And of course, this is the first week of September. And I hope you are enjoying this new month. Isn't it nice? I hope you are feeling happy. Yes, it is Wednesday. It is so hot. But, as I mentioned, I have a lovely sensation. Oh, I'm enjoying that. Oh, it's very nice. Have you ever tried having a fan near your legs on a very hot day? It is very refreshing. It's a little bit like putting your feet in cool water when everything else is really hot and humid. It feels very nice, I will be honest with you. Yes, we have the live chat also up and running. Nice to see you here as well. I hope you can find me today on the internet. I've had some more complaints from people saying we can't find you on YouTube. What has happened to you? I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. So I'm still here doing this. However, YouTube sometimes they like to hide and put me in a secret place on YouTube. So sometimes it can be very difficult to find me, but yes, I hope you are here right now. Oh, we have a very interesting situation here. Oh, very nice. Very fast with your finger. It would appear that those 3 days of rest have helped your finger. Congratulations to Vitas. You are first on today's live chat. Ooh. 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 It's amazing where that fresh air is getting. It's going right at my shorts. And I must admit, I can't complain. Congratulations, Vitas. Also, Palmyra. And we have Oim Oim. Hello, Oim Oim. Apparently, your name is actually Moi. 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 Spelt backwards. And of course, Moi means me in French. Very clever. I like that. Thinking outside the box. I admire that very much. We have Beatrice. We also have Mayori, 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 Mayori. Welcome back. Also, we have Palmyra and Asketchum. Hello to you as well. Welcome back. Nice to see you back with the live chat. Hello to Tomek. Hello, Tomek. Sorry. I was just clearing my throat then. Hello also to Sandra Gonzalez. Nice to see you back. And also we have TQT Vlog. Ooh. I've never seen you here before. Is it your first time? Ahmed Isaac asks, how is it going? It is going okay. Not too bad, thank you very much. I can't complain. Even though I think it might be very easy to complain. I suppose I could complain about the weather. I could complain about the fact that I'm indoors and it's really hot. I could complain about the smell from the farmer next door who is now spreading poop on his land. It's not very pleasant. So there are many things I could complain about, but I am here, I'm alive. I opened my eyes this morning and I thought, ooh, I get to do this all over again. I get another day of life to enjoy. Hello also to Alessandra De Filo. Nice to see you as well. So many kind people. So many polite people on my live chat. That is one of the things I love about doing this. The reason is I get so many lovely people joining in on the live chat. We live in an age where people like to be mean and hateful and hurtful, spiteful and maybe even rude. But here we try to do the opposite. However, we also like to have a little laugh from time to time. Hello also to New Huyn. I believe you are watching in Vietnam at the moment. So we are talking about politeness today. Being polite, being well-mannered. So to have good manners means to be polite. In general society, in our day-to-day lives, we often find that it is better or beneficial to be kind or polite in everyday situations. So I think it is a good subject, an interesting subject. Hello also to Blanca, and we have Insani. Hello Insani. Insani Ode. Nice to see you here as well. I don't recognise your name. Where are you? I'm always interested to find out where you are watching. Sergio says, it's not very difficult, Mr. Duncan, to work out why YouTube never shows you. It's because they don't want to recommend you to other people. Why? What's wrong with me? I suppose in this day and age I could become a little offended, maybe upset. I could accuse YouTube of being maybe prejudiced towards me because I'm an older person. I'm not young. I'm not good looking. I'm not a lady. So yeah, you see, there could be many reasons why this is happening, but I'm not going to go down that road. I'm just going to enjoy what I have. And that's all you can do, really. Even though I might complain from time to time. Hello, Ricardo. Nice to see you back. Willian is here. Hello, Willian. Oh, we also have Luis Mendez. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here. Thank you for your email messages. I've just seen them, actually. They popped up this morning in my email box. So thank you very much. I haven't read them yet. I haven't had time. I've been a little bit busy preparing this, you see. But thank you, Lewis, for your emails. I will read them a little bit later on. Also, we have Alejandro. Hello to you. Oh, interesting. Hello, Alejandro. Alejandro Cortez. Hello there. I'm writing to you from Chile. I am working as a baker in the morning and as a teacher in the evening. Can I just say, that is a very busy day that you have, because I would imagine both of those things require a lot of effort and also time, especially if you are a baker. Because as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, a baker will have to get up very early in the morning to start preparing the bread, to mix the dough, and then you have to put the bread in the oven, and then it has to be delivered to all of the shops or the people who are waiting for their morning toast. I think so. Hello also to, we have Zudzika. Hello, Zudzika. Don't forget, Zudzika is a man. So now we know. Aziz is watching in Algeria. Oh, by the way, can I say congratulations to Brazil? Yesterday was the Independence Day in Brazil. Also, there were lots of protests taking place. So some people getting very excited in Brazil for their Independence Day, but also some people getting rather annoyed for various reasons. Hello, Peter Koss. Peter Koss is a security guard. Now, to be honest with you, I don't think it's a boring job. I would imagine, I think I would be a very good security guard because I can run very fast because of my very long legs. And the other thing, you get to beat people up when you catch them. So maybe if there is a burglar breaking into the place where you are guarding and you have to catch them, yeah, you can have a little bit of rough and tumble. I like the idea of that. By the way, we're talking about fighting next Sunday. That's the reason why I mentioned that, you see. We are talking about fighting next Sunday. Hello also, Adele. Hello also to Peter Koss. Hello also to Adele. Hello, Adele. Nice to see you here. I always worry that I'm going to say the wrong thing. The big problem with doing live streams like this is your mouth can sometimes say things before your brain thinks about them. And it does happen quite often. People in the past have done this. We often say that you put your foot, you will put your foot in your mouth. You say the wrong thing. You say something that you shouldn't have, or maybe you accidentally offend somebody. So yes, it can happen. Hello also to Peter Koss. Please tell me, do you work at night or during the day? Quite often people will work as security guards at night. But I don't know, I quite like the idea of that. I think I would be a really good security guard. The only thing I would need, I would have to have someone else there who is very big and strong. So I would have to wait until that person had tackled the burglar and pushed them to the ground, and then I would join in. Give them a few slaps, maybe. Can you do that? Hello, Eng Mohammed. Hello to Eng Mohammed. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Can you hear me? Well, I can't hear you, but I can see your message. So you are coming through on the live chat very clearly, just in case you're wondering. Would you like to have a look at today's mystery idiom? Okay, we have a mystery idiom for you to solve. This is something that I like to do every Wednesday. This is a well-known expression in the English language. However, it is not in text. It is actually a picture that describes or shows what the actual mystery idiom is. And here it is right now. This is today's mystery idiom just for you. Ooh. There it is. I will keep it on the screen for a few more seconds. But what is it? It is a well-known expression in the English language. All you have to do is tell me what it is. I will give you the answer a little bit later on, for those who are interested. Politeness. Oh yes, politeness. Good manners. Have you ever met anyone who has bad manners? So there is an opposite, of course. Good manners and being polite. And then we have the opposite, which is bad manners. Being impolite or rude. We are going to look at all of those things a little bit later on. Meanwhile, we're going to have a break. I'm going to show you something because this is a very special day today. You might not realize it, but today it is my 4th day of the new me. I've decided to give up all of the junk food, all of the rubbish, all of the chocolate and Jaffa cakes. I can't believe that I've done that. But I'm going to. And I'm also taking more exercise. So I'm having 2 big walks every day. And it reminded me of the time. Do you remember the time when Mr. Steve and myself went for a big walk? We went for a very long walk, and it was rather enjoyable. We went to a very special place in Wales and we had a good time. So I thought we would relive our lovely walk in Wales as a way of motivating myself, because I'm now 4 days into my new regime. My goal is to get healthy and also lose weight.
Come on, Mr. Duncan. Don't take so long. This is a lovely spot. Hurry up. Oh, hello. The things I have to put up with. Look how slowy Mr. Duncan is coming up there. I told you he needs to get fit. We're trying to get him to lose weight as well. As you know, don't say anything. Shh. He's a bit sensitive about his weight. Oh, Mr. Duncan, you're here. How wonderful. This is a lovely spot, you know. It's a bit exhausting coming up that steep hill.
Oh, this is so tiring. Steve, there is a bench over there. Can we go and sit down?
Yes. Let's go and sit down on that lovely, inviting bench, showing that fantastic view of the lake.
Please. Oh, hello there. We are on a lovely walk today. We're taking a nice walk, but we are having a little rest at the moment. Mr. Steve has just finished eating his peanut bar. There we go.
Bit of energy.
Bit of energy.
Because we always like to take some food with us and have a nice rest. Don't we, Mr. Duncan? Well, look what I've got here. This is the instruction. It's a booklet on all the walking trails at Lake Vyrnwy. That's the place that we are at.
And that's the most amazing thing about this area. There are so many places to actually walk around. It's huge.
Look at all those walking trails. Today there are 5 walking trails. They're all colour coded.
Yeah.
And today we are taking the Lechwad Du trail.
Oh yeah, that's great. I can't wait to see the subtitles for that.
That's Welsh, by the way. And it's the red route. We're taking the red route.
The red route.
For danger.
If you are going to go in any direction, always follow the red route.
But it says here, this is a steady climb, and it gives stunning high views looking down on the lake and access to the hills, moorlands, forests and fields. It says there's a moderately steep hill.
Moderately.
We've just come up.
So we've walked for around about 3 miles, and I'm guessing we haven't got much further to go.
Let's have a look. There's just another 6 miles to go, Mr. Duncan.
6 miles? I'm not going 6 miles.
Look, you're trying to lose weight, Mr. Duncan. Look, this is what we've come on this walk for, to help you get fit and lose weight.
I am losing weight.
See, I haven't given him a peanut bar. I've just kept them all for myself.
During this walk, I have lost weight and also the will to live.
Well, the only weight you're losing is because you keep losing bits of equipment. Look what it says here. You see, walking, it gives you some some smart pieces of advice before you set off on your walk.
These are the things that you must bear in mind. You must think about. You must think about these things before you go on a walk. For example,
number 1, wear strong shoes or walking boots.
Check.
Check. Tick that one off. Take warm and waterproof clothing.
Oh.
I've got my warm clothing.
Steve's got some warm clothing. I haven't.
But look. I've got a rain poncho. A rain poncho.
What's a poncho?
It's look, there we go. There's a picture of a lovely lady.
Yes. Can't you describe it?
It's a plastic waterproof film covering that if we get caught in a shower, we put this poncho on, which is just covers you.
It's basically a plastic bag.
Plastic bag that goes over your head.
That goes over you. But normally a poncho is something you wear loose over your body.
That's
so
it.
You put it over your head and then it just covers your body. If you remember in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker wore a poncho. But apparently most of the scenes were deleted with him wearing the poncho. But there are a couple of scenes in Star Wars where Luke Skywalker is wearing his poncho.
Always have to get something in about Star Wars. It's so boring, Mr. Duncan.
Of course.
Anyway, that's waterproof clothing. Watch out for service vehicles on forest tracks.
Yes, don't get run over. Don't get run over. It's very important.
Can't see any service vehicles on that track, so I think we're all right for now. So unless they're electric, we'll be able to hear them. Keep on the roads and footpaths. Yes, well, we've got directions there.
We are on the road and footpath. There is the road behind us. Can you see the road? There it is. Yeah.
Keep dogs under control.
That's it. Or in this case, I have to keep Steve under control.
Yes, exactly. Are you saying I'm a dog, Mr. Duncan?
You are a bit of a dumb animal sometimes.
Thank you very much. Lock your vehicle and don't leave valuables on display. Well, the car's at the hotel, so we're safe there.
I said we're okay there.
Don't drop litter.
Unless of course at the hotel there is a special conference for people that break into cars, in which case we might have a problem.
Don't drop litter, have fires or barbecues.
Don't drop litter.
Don't drop litter. Let's see what happens if we do. So there we go. I've had this peanut bar. So, oh, that was delicious. What a lovely, beautiful spot this is.
Ooh. So Steve has just dropped some litter. He is breaking the countryside code. You should never drop litter in the countryside.
Nothing's happened. I haven't been arrested. I think we've got away with it.
Oh, okay then.
I'll pick it up. I won't be naughty, Mr. Duncan, because we're setting a bad example
Yes.
to your viewers.
Yes.
So I'll put it back in the bag.
Don't forget, we are influencers. We influence the world.
We must recycle. Don't swim or paddle in the lake. Well, there's no chance of that because Mr. Duncan doesn't like water.
I can't swim.
And it's too cold anyway. We don't like water. Camping is not permitted.
Camping, so no camping. Ooh. Ooh.
No camping, Mr. Duncan.
Ooh.
So you're not allowed to mince around out here in the wilderness.
Oh, and no camping. Oh, okay, I'm going then.
Hang on. It means no. It's camping under canvas. It doesn't mean that kind of camping. It's the other type of camping where you overnight in the stars. Yeah, okay. The lake is a drinking water reservoir. I don't know well, we know that. I don't know why it's told us that. By being water efficient, you can ensure water supplies are secure. There's a picture of a man with a dog. Does that dog look like it's being kept under control? It doesn't. It hasn't got a lead on. It could just run off at any moment and attack anyone. So they're breaking their own rules by showing a picture of a dog that hasn't even got a lead on. So there we go. Are you? What have you got there, Mr. Duncan?
I found a sign. It says, "Danger, overhead power lines."
Where? I can't see any overhead power line, Mr. Duncan.
No, I think this has come from somewhere else.
Maybe we'll find the power. Well, if we find them, we'll show you. There we go. That's about all I've got to say, really. Unless people want to know any facts about Lake Vyrnwy.
Well, later on we will be talking all about Lake Vyrnwy, and don't forget I also made a video here, an actual lesson filmed here in Lake Vyrnwy.
I was there as well.
But now we are going to carry on with our walk. Shall we carry on?
Let's carry on.
We'll continue with our walk. Get your bag.
Right, let's go.
Off we go. See you
I'll put
later.
this in my pocket.
Okay then.
Oh. Right, let's go, Mr. Duncan. Right.
Off we go. Bye.
Bye.
Can you see where we are standing now? We are on the big dam.
Yes, the big dam. And there are 2 uses and 2 spellings of the word dam, aren't there, Mr. Duncan?
That is true. First, the thing we are standing on right now is called a dam. Dam. Something used for containing water, normally made from stone. And there you can see this dam is holding all this water in. This is the reservoir. The dam contains the water. And there is another use and spelling of the word dam, and it's a form of exclamation.
A swear word, an expletive.
Normally used when you get very, very angry about something.
Yes.
Damn, I missed my bus. Damn, I'm late for work.
Damn you, Mr. Duncan. I'm hungry and I want to go to the hotel and have something to eat, and you've kept me out here filming for far too long.
Oh, okay then. Do you want to go back to the hotel?
I'm only joking.
I think Steve
I
wants
would
to...
never swear at Mr. Duncan.
I'm hungry as well, though, to be
Yes,
honest. So
good.
shall we go back to the hotel now?
Yes.
We're going back right now. I hope you enjoyed that. Something different, something to inspire me to get fit over the next few months. Will it work? Will it happen? Will I become super fit and also super thin? Only time will tell. Yes, it is interesting how some words have different spellings and also different meanings, even though they sound the same. A good example was in that video. Mr. Steve mentioned his poncho, and it reminded me of the time Mr. Steve decided to put his poncho on when we were walking through a rainstorm. Would you like to see it very quickly? So here is Mr. Steve's demonstration of what a poncho actually is. There is something very wrong about that man, I think. So now you know what a poncho is. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for demonstrating that so well. And yes, I hope you enjoyed the beautiful scenery from our lovely walk in Wales. I think that was around 3 years ago we did that. So that's probably the reason why I look so well and healthy, because I think that was the last time that I tried to lose some weight. But of course, over the past 20 months, we've all been eating a little bit too much food, and I am also included. But now I've been told, not by a doctor, for those who are worried, so it isn't diabetes. I don't have diabetes. This is something that I've decided to do for myself. So no one has told me to do it. The doctor hasn't told me. However, this is the sort of thing I have to eat from now on, or for a while. So my food will be just very small portions, and also lots of this bread. Can you see it? Look at that. So that is wholemeal bread, and it is very high in fibre, and it has lots of little seeds inside. But what does it taste like? It's not great. It's a bit like eating cardboard. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to eat anything else because I always get into trouble. I always get complaints. Mr. Duncan, please do not eat when you are doing your live stream. We don't like the sound. It's too sloppy. You might even say that it is not polite. Oh, yes, we will be talking about that subject a little bit later on. We went out last weekend for a lovely walk, and I always get requests for pictures, photographs, video of the area in which I live. So here are very quickly some lovely photographs. We took these last weekend, and you can see the weather is lovely, although we have, I suppose we are coming towards the end of summer here in the UK, but over the past 3 days we've had some glorious weather, and there you can see me being very silly, a rather fat Mr. Duncan. And I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan, you don't look fat, but I am a little bit overweight, just slightly. I want to get fit because I'm not a young man anymore. That's the reason why I'm doing it. Nothing serious. I don't have any health problems, so don't worry about that. And you can see that all of the hay has now been put into bales, and that will be collected. And I suppose we can't have a walk without Mr. Steve being in there somewhere. There he is. Oh, Mr. Steve, you look so happy. In fact, he looks a little bit sleepy. I don't know why. I think Steve looks slightly sleepy in this picture. And here is another photograph. This is the final one for now. And I took this the other night whilst on one of my fit walks. So this is something I took. I actually ran into a farmer's field and I took this photograph, and I was ever so naughty because the field belongs to the farmer. So if the farmer saw me doing that, he might get a little bit angry at me. So some lovely photographs. It really does feel as if summer is coming to an end. It does feel as if autumn is just around the corner. Autumn is just around the corner. It really is. Mandeep, Mr. Duncan, can you please start directing movies? You have great eyes that can observe the best scenes. That's very kind of you. One of the things I really loved doing many years ago was making very long lessons. Lots of scenes, lots of talking, lots of descriptions, and lots of lovely music. Although these days I don't have much time to do that. But I would love to get back and do some of my long, full length, I suppose you might describe them as mini movies. But there are many of them on my YouTube channel. So if you've never seen any of my little movie lessons, then they are available on my YouTube channel. They are there for everyone to watch. Thank you very much, Mandeep. That's very kind of you to say. Isn't that lovely? The bread is not too bad, although it does taste a little bit better when it has a little bit of butter. Not too much butter, because of course butter, it's not good for you because it will block up all of your arteries and I have to keep myself fit and healthy because I am coming towards that awkward age. This is what we said on Sunday. I said, I'm coming towards that awkward age. Mr. Steve has just passed that awkward age. And when I say that, I mean 60. So I'm approaching 60, and Mr. Steve has already passed 60. So at that time of life, you have to start taking care of yourself, because over the next 30 years, you have to make sure that you don't become ill, you don't develop any ailments or problems that might cause your life to be very difficult. And someone mentioned diabetes earlier, and that is true. A lot of people do nowadays suffer from diabetes, quite often because of obesity. So people will get overweight, they will become overweight, and then because of that, lots of other health issues will come along. And diabetes is one of them. But I can assure you, I don't have diabetes. I know what you're saying. Mr. Duncan, we can't believe that. We can't believe you don't have diabetes. You should have it, really. The amount of chocolate and sugary things that you eat. But no, I don't. No diabetes here. And hopefully, over the next couple of months, I will make sure that it never comes my way. I really do. The English language is a wonderful thing. It has lots of very unusual words, and I thought we would have a quick look at some strange English words. There are many words in the English language. Quite a few of them are very familiar. However, there are many that you might not be familiar with. So we're going to have a little look at some strange English words, some unusual English words. Here's the first one. Obtuse. This is a very good way of describing a person. A very good way of describing a person who is insensitive or stupid. Maybe a person who is crass in their thinking. You might describe someone who has no sense of empathy. They're not very good at understanding how another person feels. You might say they are very insensitive or maybe stupid. I know it's not polite to call someone stupid, but instead you might say, you are so obtuse. Why do you have to be so obtuse? So I like that word. Here's another one. So this is not necessarily a word. This is actually a phrase. Woe betide. And we use this a lot when we are expressing anger. It's something a person has done, or maybe something a person might do in the future. So this is a phrase that is used as a warning, meaning bad things will happen to the person who did that thing. Or the offender, of course. Woe betide. Woe betide anyone who eats all of my Jaffa cakes. Woe betide anyone who says that I will not lose weight. So it is normally said as a warning. And it does sound like Old English. And the reason why it sounds like Old English is because it is Old English. Woe just means a bad event or sadness or unhappiness. And betide means happen. So betide is actually connected to the event of tide coming in, something that occurs. So woe betide anyone who says Mr. Duncan will never lose weight. Woe betide. I like that one. Make a note of that, because we do use that quite often in English, even though it derives from Old English and Early English. Oh, I like this word, cacophony. Cacophony. I like that because it's fun to say. There is a cacophony in the room. There is a cacophony, a feeling, maybe a state of disharmony. So when things are not right, or maybe things are not as they should be, you might say that there is disharmony, or you can say cacophony. Cacophony. It's a great noun, and it's also a word that we do use quite often when we are being polite. We are talking about politeness later on. Reflux. Oh, a nice medical term. I like this very much. So this word is often used as a noun, but also it can be used as a verb as well. Talking of medical things, reflux is often used in medicine to describe something that is travelling or moving in the opposite way to which it should. So I suppose a good example is if you eat too much food, you might get indigestion. You might have acid that comes up from your stomach into your mouth. It's a very unpleasant feeling, but it can also be described as acid reflux. Acid reflux is the experience or the process of something coming back up from your stomach, and quite often it will have a lot of gastric acid, the acid that is produced inside your stomach, and it's quite painful. It causes a lot of pain, and over many years it can cause many serious illnesses such as cancer. So it is something you need to keep under control. Reflux, to travel the wrong way, to go in the wrong direction, or the opposite way to what it should. So some strange English words. I do like medical words, by the way. For those who've watched me for many years, you know that I love medical things very much. Luis Mendez, yes. Well, can I just say, I share your problem. Not so much nowadays, because I've changed some of my eating habits. But yes, I used to get very bad acid reflux. So quite often in the night when you're lying down, if you are lying down, you are in a very different position to what you would normally be standing in or sitting in. So quite often the acid will come back up from your stomach and into your throat. So it can also be something that is painful, but also it can cause serious problems in the future. It's a little bit like what I was saying earlier about having too much sugar or too much fat in your diet. So it's another thing that can cause problems. Terence says, my food will come back up when I'm laughing at jokes and eating at the same time. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but it's very similar. Anything that is going the wrong way. So maybe something that should be going down, but instead it comes up. That is reflux. Yes, Palmyra. Acid reflux is very common these days, and there has been a lot of discussion about this particular topic. And it would appear that because of our eating habits, maybe we are eating more processed food, or maybe more salt. Maybe there is too much salt or too much spicy food. Now that is the thing that often causes me problems. If I eat spicy food, quite often it will give me indigestion or acid reflux. It is not pleasant. It doesn't feel good, and it can be very painful. And as I said earlier, it can cause lots of problems as well. A very interesting subject. I wasn't planning to talk about that today, but we did anyway. We did. Christina says, yes, you can drink things such as milk. Well, that is what I used to do. I used to drink maybe half a glass of milk So if I did have indigestion or acid reflux, I would sometimes drink some milk, just a little milk, just to try and calm my stomach down. Polite words are coming up. Yes, we have polite words. I think in everyday life, I think it is important to be polite. I think it is very important to show kindness, to be generous when you can, and also to be polite, to have good manners, the way you behave towards other people, the way you behave in a certain situation. Manners. We are talking about manners and also being polite. The word manner relates to the way something is done. So the way you do something, I suppose you might say that the manner is just about everything that exists, everything that happens. A person does something, maybe amongst other people, in front of other people, near other people. So the word manner relates to the way something is done. The way something is done. So that is the very basic definition of that word. We might judge a person by their manner or their attitude towards something. And I think this is a very important thing to mention at this point as we start off. A person's manner defines the person completely. So we will often judge someone by their manner or perhaps their attitude towards something. So I think that is a good point to make, and that's the reason why I put it at the start. To be judged by your actions. And as you know, it's very hard not to be judged these days by your actions, especially on the internet. In social situations, a person's manner might refer to an individual's public behaviour. So how you behave in public, how you behave when you are amongst people. So your manners, once again, often they express the way you do things. Abdul, Mr. Duncan, I wonder if UK people still use "in the pink of health." It sounds a bit old-fashioned. But woe betide is still okay to use nowadays. Yes, you can say woe betide. Woe betide. It is used as a warning against someone who may or may not have done something against you or something wrong. Or as a warning to anyone who is thinking of doing it. But no, I don't think we always say "in the pink." In the pink. It is something you might use if you are being jovial or light-hearted. If you are making a joke, you might say, "Oh, I'm in the pink today. I'm in the pink." So you can use it, but quite often in a humorous way. So a person's public behaviour is their manners. You can have good manners and bad manners. I'm sure we've all met someone in our lives who has bad manners. I know I have. There's nothing worse. One of the worst situations that I've found myself in is when you go maybe to a public place, maybe a restaurant, and you sit there and you're having a lovely time. Maybe you are on a date. Maybe you are going out with your family or your loved one. And then suddenly someone at the next table starts shouting and screaming and being really rude. Or maybe there's a group of people who start shouting and talking very loudly, and maybe they are swearing as well. So they are making your whole experience quite unpleasant, quite difficult. It's a difficult situation. So that does sometimes happen. You might find yourself in a situation where you are surrounded by people, or you are near to people who have bad manners. It does happen. It happens everywhere, even here in England. Not everyone in England is polite. Trust me. So politeness defines good manners. We often see politeness as a positive thing. If you are polite, it means you have good manners. So it reflects on your character in a positive way. Politeness forms the glue of a civilized society. I think this is quite true. This is something I thought about last night, by the way. I was on a walk. I was having one of my lovely walks. And last night I was walking around and I thought of this lovely expression. Politeness forms the glue of a civilized society. So we tend to think that politeness is also a sign of being civilized, to have a higher standard of understanding each other, people behaving in a polite way. So I always think that politeness forms the glue. You can see that word there, glue. The thing that holds everything together, the thing that brings people together or gives society some sort of cohesion. It bonds everyone. It allows us all to communicate in a friendly way. So politeness, to me, is the glue of a civilized society for most of the time. Here are some synonyms. I know you love your synonyms. I know. To be polite is to be courteous, well-mannered, refined, civil, considerate, kind, chivalrous, gracious, cordial, pleasant, convivial, nice. So there are many ways of describing or expressing being polite. And we have a nice list of words there, so you can make a note of those. So there are many ways of describing politeness, being polite. A kind gesture might be described as good manners or politeness, something you do for another person. And there are many examples of politeness. I'm sure right now you can think of quite a few. Right now, just sitting there. I think so. For example, here's a good one. To open a door for someone or to hold it open as they approach is a typical polite action. An action that is polite, friendly, courteous. I like that word, to be courteous. If you are courteous, it means you are polite. You are often a person who will behave in a polite way. So to open a door for someone or to hold it open as they approach is a typical polite action. Quite often, I'm going to say this, quite often, opening a door for a lady. If you see a lady coming towards the door, maybe you will hold the door open. You will open the door for the lady so she can walk through. So in the past, I do remember I used to do it all the time. I would always open a door for a woman. If I was going through the door or if I was coming towards the door, I would open the door and I would allow the woman to come in first. The woman would come in and then I would go out. What about nowadays? Can we still do that? Some people believe that we can't. Although I will be honest with you, I've done it many times recently and the response is still polite and warm. So maybe you can still do it. To pick something up that was dropped by someone is a kind action. It is polite. So maybe you are walking along the road and the person in front of you drops something, maybe their bag or their wallet, or maybe their handkerchief. It falls to the ground, and then you go up behind and say, "Oh, excuse me, I believe you've dropped this." I believe you've dropped this on the ground. I believe this is yours. Excuse me, I believe this is yours. Or you could ask, does this belong to you? I think you've just dropped it. You've just dropped it. So there are many ways of doing that, many ways of showing politeness. To offer assistance in an emergency to a stranger is an act of both kindness and politeness. So you are not only being kind, you are also showing politeness as well. You are offering assistance. Maybe you are driving along the road and you see someone stuck at the side of the road. Maybe their car has broken down. Maybe they are trying to get some assistance. Maybe they are waving their hands, trying to get someone to stop and help them. So that is another good example. To offer assistance in an emergency to a stranger is an act of both kindness and politeness. Here's another one. Basic polite gestures. Now, I suppose from this point of view, we are talking about things you can say, maybe a certain type of body language or action can also be a polite gesture. You might say, thank you. Thank you. When you are asking for something, you will use please. Please, can I have a drink? Please, may I open the window? Please. Please. Please, can I have some money to buy some sweets with? Quite often I would annoy my mother by asking for money because I always wanted to go across to the shops to get some sweets. Mummy, can I have some money for some sweets, please? Can I? I've been a very good boy recently. I think I deserve it. Thank you. Yes, thank you. It is such a simple thing, but you will be amazed how few people use it. You might do something nice for someone, but they might not even say thank you. And it's not that difficult, really, when you think about it. It's not that difficult to say thank you. Thank you. That's all you have to do. It's very easy to do. And listening to someone talk and concentrating on what they are saying is polite. Can I just let you in on a secret? Here is a secret, but it won't be a secret much longer. Mr. Steve is not very good at listening to people. I've seen him do it. He will have a conversation with someone. He will be listening to them, but really he's not. He's going somewhere else in his mind. He's floating away to a fantasy land and is not listening to a word that person is saying. So it can sometimes be like that. Listening to a person talk and concentrating on what they are saying is polite. So I think that is a good thing to do. Also, it's a good thing to do just in case they ask you any questions. So they might be talking to you about something and then they ask you a question. What do you think about the thing I just said? And if you weren't listening, then you won't know how to answer because you weren't listening. Oh, this is something that I understand very clearly. In the service industry, when we talk about service industry, we are talking about shops, sales, anything where an organisation or a company has to deal with the public. In the service industry, politeness is expected, such as whilst serving in a shop or during a conversation on the phone, talking to a customer. So maybe you are calling someone because you need assistance. You will call a big company and then someone will talk to you on the telephone. Normally you will expect them to be polite and not rude. However, However rude the customer is being, the sales assistant must remain polite at all times. I know this very well. I remember many years ago when I was young, one of my jobs that I did was working in a shop. And it's not a very pleasant job, I will be honest. For most of the time, the job was lovely. I enjoyed it. I was a young person gaining experience, talking to people, sharing conversations with all of the customers. So I think that's one of the reasons why I love doing this. So I got into teaching later, you see, in my life. In my life, I became interested in teaching much later in my life. However rude the customer is being, the sales assistant must remain polite at all times. I can remember some terrible situations where people would literally, and I'm not joking, they would literally make threats against me personally. They would say things like, "I'm going to get you later. When you leave here, I'm going to be waiting around the corner and I'm going to get you." Lovely. Very nice. But even then, you have to still be polite to that person, even if they're threatening your life. You still have to be polite in return. So not a great job. I will be honest with you. Working in a shop, if you do work in a shop, you have my complete understanding of that situation. For most of the time, I'm sure it's lovely and fun. But sometimes it can be very unpleasant indeed. I think so. Then, of course, we have the opposite. We can talk about bad manners, being impolite. And I'm sure in life, I'm sure from your own experience, you have come across people who are rude, impolite, and maybe they have bad manners, maybe they are aggressive, especially if they don't get what they want. So maybe a person might come to you for help, but perhaps you can't help them. Perhaps you don't have the assistance that they require. You want to give them some help, but you can't. But they might become angry, upset because of it. Hello, Shivani. Mr. Duncan, can you please explain the differences between polite and formal? Well, formal is normally the way something is expected to be done. When we talk about polite, we are talking about actions that are seen as positive or kind. So they are actually quite different words in that respect. So when we say formal, we mean something that is widely acceptable as being the right thing. When we talk about being polite, it means your behaviour is the thing that is accepted by most people. So there is a slight difference between those two words. Mr. Duncan. Perhaps my book. Anyone arriving after the start of the play is not allowed in until the interval. Why arriving? Well, because you are still using it as an action, a thing that is happening. Anyone arriving. So anyone who appears, anyone who arrives, you are arriving at that place. So as people appear, as people come to the place, as they are arriving. So quite often we will describe that as something that is happening, even if we are expressing something that may or may not happen. Arriving. After the fact, of course, we say arrived. So arrived, the action is arriving. So anyone arriving after the start of the play is not allowed in. So that is correct, yes. That is correct. Thank you very much. And yes, of course, I do get people sometimes writing to me saying that I am rude because I don't answer their questions, but I always try my best. Generally speaking, impoliteness is not accepted as typical behaviour. It is true. I don't think I've ever been anywhere where people say, please be rude. Can you please be as rude as possible? I don't think I've ever been anywhere like that. Can you imagine that though? If you stayed at a hotel or if you went to a cafe and everyone in there was really rude to you, all of the staff and the manager. There was a TV show on many years ago here in England, in the UK, called Fawlty Towers. Have you heard of it? It's a great program, a brilliant show made in the early 1970s, very long time ago, but it is still viewed as one of the funniest comedies ever. And it's all about, guess what it's about? Staying in a hotel. And the owner of the hotel is very rude to all of the guests, but it's very funny. Maybe you've heard of it. Oim Oim says, you are not rude at all, Mr. Duncan. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. I try my best. So generally speaking, impoliteness is not accepted as typical behaviour. To be impolite is to have bad manners. We can also say poor manners. So a person might have poor manners. It means they are not polite. They don't know when to be polite. They have poor manners or bad manners. There used to be a pop group in the 1980s called Bad Manners as well, if you're interested. A rude manner is seen as uncouth. I like that word, uncouth. A person who is impolite or has bad manners is uncouth, crude, uncivilized, discourteous, crass, uncivil, ill-mannered, impolite, boorish. Oh, that's an interesting one. Have you ever been near a person who is boorish? They are loud and aggressive and rude. And finally, we have the word loutish. Loutish. We often use the word lout when we are talking about a young person who is impolite. So maybe a young person who is rude and impolite might be described as loutish. They are a lout. Thank you, John. John F. Thank you very much for your donation on the live chat. That's lovely. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Here's another one. We are talking about politeness today. We've just talked about being polite. Now we are talking about the opposite. The reverse of courtesy and kindness is impolite. So anything that is the opposite to courtesy, being kind, being thoughtful, having kindness, can be described as impolite. Here's another one. We often see bad manners as a sign of a bad upbringing or poor parenting. Oh my goodness. Where do I start with this? We often see bad manners as a sign of bad upbringing or poor parenting. Now, in this sentence, you might notice the word poor. This does not refer to a person's wealth. So it has nothing to do with money or wealth. It just means that the thing has been done badly. So we often use the word poor to mean something that's been done badly or not very well. So poor parenting is when the parents do not do a very good job of raising their children. The reason why I'm laughing is because this is something you hear quite often from older people. Oh, that child is so rude. Oh, I blame the parents. I can't begin to tell you how often I've heard that. Those children, they're so noisy and rude. I blame the parents. We often say that. What about you? Do you say it there where you are? Do you often blame the parents for the child's bad behaviour or impoliteness? I think it does happen quite often. Thank you very much for your company today. I will be back, by the way, on Sunday. Don't forget, I'm also back on Sunday. Just quickly, I will put that on the screen so you know. 2 p.m. UK time is when I am with you next on Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. We are talking about fighting on Sunday and also about time as well. Something that you might describe as being rude is being late. So are you good at keeping time? Are you good at going somewhere at the right time? So maybe if you are meeting your friend at 4 o'clock, will you actually turn up before 4 o'clock or after 4 o'clock? So that is something also that we are saying on Sunday. Oh dear. Asketium says, to be honest, I don't like kids very much either. I don't mind children. I will be honest with you. One of the things that really annoys me about children is when the parents don't control them. It's a bit like dogs, really, as well. So I have the same problem with dogs. So the owners of the dogs quite often will allow their dog to run around and do everything. And quite often, if you are in a place like a restaurant or a cafe, maybe there is a group of people and they're sitting around a table and they have some children, but they let the children run around and do whatever they want. So the children are causing a lot of chaos. They are being noisy and badly behaved. But the parents don't do anything. They do nothing. They just let the kids run around. They don't even control them. So I think that is one of the things that really annoys me about children. But of course, we have to remember, children are our future. I might need one of them to take care of me when I'm old and wrinkly. I might. Yes. Thank you, Oim Oim. I agree with you, Mr. Duncan. Parents must keep control of their children. I think so. Oh, before I go, I don't want to forget this, so I'm going to do it now. We have today's mystery idiom. I think this was a very hard one. Sometimes I like to give you a hard mystery idiom. So this one today was very hard. You can see a number 4 is going up into the air. It is flying. But what does it mean, Mr. Duncan? Please tell us. The answer to today's mystery idiom is for the high jump. For the high jump. It is a phrase that is often used in a certain situation. The meaning, to be in trouble, or about to face punishment of some sort. A person who has done something wrong might find themselves for the high jump. It is something that we often say when a person is going to face punishment of some sort. That person is for the high jump. That person is going to get into a lot of trouble. Indeed. So there it was, today's mystery idiom. Perhaps you are late for work. Maybe once, then twice, then 3 times, then 4 times. And then one morning, all of your work colleagues are looking at their watches and they are saying, if Duncan is late for work today, he is for the high jump. That means he is going to get punished. He was going to face some sort of punishment. He will be for the high jump. He might even lose his job. He might even be fired or sacked or dismissed. Hello, Belarusia. Thank you very much for joining. I didn't see you on the live chat. Thank you, Claudia. It is so lovely to see you here today. What about selfishness? Thinking only of whatever we want or whatever we need. If you give a seat to an elderly woman that is beside you because her feet might ache, that is a very good example of politeness. And I suppose you could also say kindness at the same time. So yes, maybe you are sitting on a bus, or maybe you are sitting at a bus stop or a place where there are seats, and maybe you are sitting down, but then suddenly you see an elderly person coming towards you and they look very tired. They look like they need to sit down. So you stand up and you offer the seat to them. Would you like to sit down? I'm just about to leave. Would you like to sit here? Yes? Okay, come on, sit down. Take the weight off your feet. Sit down. Hello, Abdul. Abdul Malik from a place that I know very well. Watching in Malaysia. I know Malaysia. I used to go to Malaysia all the time during the 1990s. I used to go there twice a year for my holiday. Very nice. Mr. Duncan, I've been watching your channel for almost 10 years, since episode 1. Thank you, and lots of love from Malaysia. Thank you, Abdul. That's very kind of you to say. Richard is going now. See you later, Richard. Thank you for joining me today. We've had a very interesting day on the live chat. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will be leaving you with Mr. Steve cutting his grass. It would appear that a lot of people like that one. Christina. Oh, very interesting. Christina says, I think politeness should be taught in schools. You know what? That is a great idea. Even here, we don't really teach politeness in school. I suppose it is something that is learnt over time. So as you go to school, as you interact with your classmates and your teachers, so I would say that politeness is something that you acquire. It is something you get over time. You acquire politeness. It is something you learn over time. So yes, I think so. I think politeness is something that should be taught. But I also think that politeness is something that you pick up over time. You gain the knowledge or the ability. You learn the rules of being polite. Although it would appear that a lot of people still need those lessons. They still need to learn them. I think so. Even here sometimes on the live chat. Ooh. Thank you very much for your company. I am going in a moment. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a glorious day here. I'm going outside and I'm going to put some food out for the birds, and I'm going to watch the clouds float by, and I'm going to enjoy some of this lovely sunshine before the weather changes again tomorrow. Apparently we have rain on the way. Oh dear. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you very much to Dan. You're an example of the word polite. Thank you, Dan. That's very kind. That's very kind. As I always say, kindness creates more kindness. Be kind to a person, be polite, and they will be polite back in return. And then the opposite. You might find that people will be rude to you if you are not polite to them. Thanks for your company. See you on Sunday. I am back on Sunday. We are talking about lots of things again. We have Mr. Steve with us as well on Sunday. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. And yes, I am going to take some refreshment, maybe a cup of tea. And I will sit outside and watch the birds. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay polite, even when things are not going your way. I know sometimes it's very difficult. When things are going badly, sometimes it's very hard to keep your cool and be polite. But trust me, in the end, it will all be worth it. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. It's a lovely day today, and I hope where you are, it is the same. Ta-ta for now.